Good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast. So it's a solo podcast with a live audience. We discuss news and politics. I am suddenly taken back to my senior year of high school. One of the things that sticks out to me is about 10 days prior to graduating high school, fuck, I don't know, half of the people that I graduated with learned that commencement means beginning. So, as we sit here today and celebrate 1 year, I don't think of it as an end. I don't think of it as an acme. I don't see it as an achievement. Demonstrating consistency is at the very bedrock of what great leadership looks like, sounds like. I am far too simple a person. I never in a million years wanted this. Dead ass. But then again, I've been fucking saying that going on checks notes a decade. So it's not like I wasn't fucking screaming the entire time. This shit ain't it, bro. I went to school before all of this for social media because I loved it. That got destroyed too. This show's was born within 2 months of a KKK rally at Madison Square Garden. Probably one of the more, if I'm being really honest with you, radicalizing events I've ever watched in my adult fucking life are a bunch of social media hacks. Grant Cardone, fucking Trump, fucking Tony Hinchcliffe. Do whatever the fuck that was. And it fucking changed me. It took all of my hopes and dreams and aspirations and it said, you know what would be great? The American Socialist Party hosting at Madison Square Garden and showing especially Republicans and Democrats and most importantly all the people that mean us harm, how many of us there really are. How many people have taken the time to just Google the word socialist or socialism? Just Google it. And we're going to do that today. And we're going to start that way. And we were doing it for a while and we stopped. But it's important because people are motherfucking stupid. And until we understand the basic point of can we just define socialism before we hate on it and figure out is there other aspects of that that you could possibly comprehend, because that's we fucked up to this point. We fucked it all up. Wealth and income inequality are absurd. The rich get richer, and we put people in office that kill people. It's like that. We got to stop. We got to stop electing capitalists. We got to stop electing people that will take money from foreign countries. And I think there's a low bar. Did you hear what I just said? There is a very low bar that our elected officials are going to have to pass. And if they cannot, you cannot elect these people. They're not electable. They're not good leaders. They don't understand basic concepts. We're going to go through it together, real nice and easy, okay? So when I go on the interwebs and I'm like, yo, what is socialism? I will just type in socialism definition. Okay? Now, what I recommend you do, because I went to Purdue University and we have this thing called Purdue OWL. Okay? So while everybody's listening to War by Edwin Starr, which is how we start this show every day. Sorry. Okay? If you skip the AI overview, because that's taking the easy way out, and scroll past that, okay, you can see, you could just go to a dictionary, right? Or you could go to, oh, I don't know, here's Merriam-Webster. Have you heard of Merriam-Webster? They make a fucking dictionary, and it's publicly available on the internet. Here, I'll show you. Merriam-Webster.com, socialism. Look, I memorized it, guys, right? Any of various egalitarian. See, I know right there, your brain fucking broke. That fucking word right there fucked you up hardcore. I know. All you had to do was click on it. Huh? And then you're like, oh, egalitarian means it's promoting egalitarianism. What the fuck is that? Right? Holy shit. 2 goddamn clicks change the world. A belief in human equality, especially with respect to social, political, and economic affairs. Okay, so let's go back to socialism. I hope I'm not jumping any fucking sharks here. And I hope everybody understands. Okay? So I'm holding the camera with one hand. You're going to have to deal with it. I'm clicking with the other. Okay? Any of various pro-equality economic and political theories or movements advocating collective or governmental ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods. Okay? Okay? Now, because motherfuckers are stupid, any pro-equality movement, let's start real nice and simple, and let's start giving really good examples of pro-equality movements. Can any of you think of a pro-equality movement that is like a positive thing? I'll go first. Ready? Pride. Pride. Like the Pride Parade. It was born out of protest. And it's now a celebration. Am I wrong? Yeah, they did me dirty with a big word with another big word attached. We're fucked. Yep, we fucked this up so far. We're trying to unfuck ourselves. What we're doing is trying to make sure that we understand what socialism is in modern words, because we live in a controlled environment, right? And people are openly hostile when they're dumb, right? So when you don't understand what the fucking word means, they get like angry and shit, and it's just like, hold on, bitch, calm down. Socialism, okay, by definition, is any various movement, economic, political, social theory, anything advocating collective or governmental ownership and administration of the means of production and distribution of goods. Here's a simple way to say it. Socialism is a movement away from private equity as a means of collecting dollars and redistributing them because they suck. Hello? An end to corporate welfare. That's what socialism is. Socialism is stop taking handouts, bitch, except to companies. That's why they denounce socialism. This is why they don't like unions, right? A union employee, if they're not getting along somewhere, they just go take a fucking job somewhere else, bitch. I'm getting my time in, right? Okay. So I understand that motherfuckers are stupid. And thus far, we have fucked this all up. DEI, affirmative action, unions, the VA. The fact that while you're on active duty in the military, you get universal health care, education, income, and housing, and your spouse and kids do too, should tell you everything you need to know if you'll pull a trigger for this motherfucker uh, in defense of her imperialism and expansionism to you and yours, right? Now, does I want to make sure that we, in the definition of the word socialism, one of the things that fucking tilts me as someone who knows the definition of the word, did we say overthrow the government? Class, we looked up the definition of socialism. Did the rest of us, in what we just read, overthrow the means of production, overthrow the government? No. Okay? Now, understand, here we are now the terrorist states of America. Okay? There were no, hey Jared, we gotta shoot the people in power and take their job. Okay? No. Here's what has happened over the course of history is that people are stupid and simple, and they'll fly any flag and call themselves anything and demand a seat at the table. And they don't have a survey of the room and kind of check the temperature and the windage and say, is this the correct thing to be doing? Right? But what I've clearly seen and what we've demonstrated, okay, is ineptitude in both the Republican Democratic Party to where they have soured on Americans. And now the majority of Americans do not have a they don't have they don't have a taste for politics. Democrats and Republicans are all the same. It's bland. There's no platform. And so, sometime in the last year, I said, hey, what if we founded the American Socialist Party? What if we just said, hey, we think that there are 600 seats of government in the United States, and that in most developed countries, socialists have anywhere from like 20 to 35% of those seats and are even getting elected into the highest seats of government. So understand, in terms of like checking the windage and the temperature, okay, people are getting elected into office in other countries and are being called socialists. And I just want to make sure that because MAGA is dumb, okay, nice. That's all. that's that's really all you got to be. Because I know somebody in the audience said, "Hey, it's MAGA. Egalitarian's way too big of a word. We're limited to 4 letters here." And I sat here and thought about it while I was talking to you. And nice. That's what I could come up with. It's not even an acronym. Like just be fucking nice. Jesus. Yeah, and we'll certainly talk about the news. Okay. But we founded the American Socialist Party because I honestly believe in like the next 5 years we could easily have a third of all of elected officials when they're asked, "Do you support socialism?" particularly the strength of the platform of the American Socialist Party. And they say, "Well, what is the platform of the American Socialist Party?" Well, the American Socialist Party was founded on the principles of pro equality, pro union, and advocating for everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Six things. Six things. That's it. No, we don't have demands. We're not trying to overthrow the government. We want people elected into office that aren't bigots, that are pro union, which lends itself to like pro labor, pro worker. And then, as I've been saying this whole time, we cannot let wages stagnate, the cost of living continue to rise, and people make it. Can't do it. And it starts with a few of your biggest bills. Hey, we need universal health care, universal education, universal housing, meaning they call it rent control in some places. But what I'm saying is, y'all are getting fucked on your mortgages and paying astronomical amounts of motherfucking American dollars, and you're never going to pay that off. And as someone your senior whose finances are fucking stellar, hey, I don't have any debt and I'm a homeowner. People are buying houses with $3,000-$4,000 mortgages that don't make that kind of money and putting themselves in a world of fucking hurt. And I'm a canary in a coal mine, so keep that in mind. I know, nothing I can really do about it. Did we ever get a result from the mass blackout? Yeah, I think we did. They tried to sell you that Americans spent more than ever on Black Friday. And again, you got to understand they're advertising that information to the masses. So they think that you're stupid and that they can tell you companies made more money than ever this Black Friday, corporations won. Okay? But that's not the whole story. And to put it very simply, and to make it very simple to digest, the number of items per transaction was down, so people bought less number of things and they spent more per item. So no, Black Friday was not a success. The blackout absolutely crushed any like profit motive Black Friday would have had is out the fucking window. That was a normal business day. Hmm. Yeah, that was a normal business day. Actually, that was a really bad business day. I have literally started my own businesses, run other people's businesses, helped other people start their businesses. You absolutely cannot. Right. You on like a sale day, your attach rate is the most fucking important thing. If somebody buys a phone, they're walking out with a headset. If they buy a phone, they're walking out with a car charger or whatever. Okay? I ran a Radio Shack. I in multiple venues on a Black Friday. You're specifically aiming at attach rate. That's like the whole gig. And so the price per item should be down, but it just goes to show you that that Black Friday is a scam because people, they went and got what they were looking for and they didn't buy anything else and they paid more on average for it. That's the story. Was it a success? No. These companies make the money they thought they were going to make? No. Not at all. They had to price gouge in order to do that. This is why we have to get away from doing business at large corporations. Do business at local businesses, smaller businesses with tighter inventories. That way you can monitor cost better than trying to manage your relationship with a big box store. Because that's a problem right now is Americans are still just shopping at fucking Walmart. Oh, we said we were gonna fundraise. Okay, trying to. Hey, Pam came in to say hi. Trying to fundraise $1,000 to establish the American Socialist Party. I don't have much. Okay. Jared at Jared won Malat. So what I will pledge to do is raise the money and put it in a bank account to establish the American Socialist Party and ultimately be the treasurer for the American Socialist Party myself until we can hire a professional treasurer, which requires fundraising. Okay. Uh, I love it when people ask me questions like I'm smart and stuff. Stacy said, I have a question. What are your thoughts on software programs like Delete Me to get your name off of stuff on the web? Are they legit or just a scam, scamming a scam, so to speak? I have never used one of those services. The primary reason is because we keep having data breaches, and it's like, why would you pay? And then it's gonna keep happening, and it's like I'm trying to justify that. Um, what are you trying to hide, right? Like that's how I think about programs like Delete Me. I get it. People don't want to be found or bothered or none of that shit. Sure. What are you doing that people are bothering you? That's it's a great fucking question. Like, should I use those services? I can't answer that. I don't have the experience, know how necessary, have not done the research, could not tell you if that is a good product. It's a couple $100 from what I understand. Okay. So I don't know the correct way to do this. Okay? I am openly admitting to my audience I don't know how the best way to do this. I have a Venmo. So if you want to do Jared one Malat, do that. Now, once we get the ball rolling, okay, we'll get accounts that are attached to the party's account. Okay, and then to preview what we'll be doing. Okay, so payer request. Jared one Malata on Venmo. Okay, and then I don't. If you've got the nerve to support the American Socialist Party, I would do it. I would do so publicly. Um, what I would like to do after we get to $1,000 is donate, join a union, or donate to the Wounded Warrior Project as kind of like the floor, right? You don't have to give me money. Once we establish the American Socialist Party, what I intend to do, there, my wife was just telling me, hey, it's actually pretty easy just to print your own stuff. Is it? Mm-hmm. We could just buy a printer and print our own shirts. I thought about doing that until we need to seize the means of production, start our own business. Okay, and that's one of the ways I want to build the party. Is I don't want to be a fundraiser. I want to be a political party. I want to put the social and party into socialism as a political party, right? I want people happy because we are going to elect people that have our best interest. And this low bar, by the way, I still think this is a very low bar. The requirements are just that you're not a bigot and that you're pro union and that you want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. That's a pretty low bar, actually. And when I say like pro union, all I mean is like you don't have a negative thought or negative opinion of unions because unions are a good thing. Worried about identity theft. Was it Edmund? Well, you know he's lying when he tells you, no, I didn't do something. So, first article I see this morning, Donald Trump denies pledging Argentina style bailout for Hungary's embattled Orban. So, basically, Politico is saying Donald Trump promised to bail out what is it, Hungary? Yeah, Viktor Orban. Mhm. The Bulgarian government has resigned after mass anti corruption protests. So, um, do you see how protest is supposed to work? Okay. One of the questions that stupid people have, Mike, you'll appreciate this. How could you be a veteran in the United States and be pro socialism? And I will always say, is it too much to be asked to be nice, to not be a bigot, to be pro union, to want everyone to have healthcare, education, income, and housing? Is that too high a bar for you? To just have that as a thought? Yeah, everybody ought to have healthcare. That ain't no big deal. Everybody ought to have the opportunity to get an education. Hell yeah. Income? Well, yeah, everybody ought to get some money until they don't need it no more. Oh, yeah, they got to do something about the rising cost of housing. Socialist. Do you get it? Now there are all sorts of flavors of socialism, right? I'm a syndicalist in that I think that we ought to uh, overthrow the means of production or seize the means of production by joining unions. I'm part of working America, okay? Because I work in finance, it's basically the Wild Wild West. There's really not like a fucking union for what I do, okay? I also joined the Military Veterans Council, which is again a union, okay? My goal is to secure employment in a union as something. I can't do physical labor. My right shoulder's fucked up, and if I just let my right arm hang down by my side, I can't feel the fingers in my right hand. So I can't really do reliably physical labor. Also, I'm in my 40s, um, and I have tinnitus real bad, so I'm losing my hearing. And so while I've made it a long way, or made it this far, I need to eventually secure union employment as a representative that speaks because I can't fucking hear you and isn't required to do physical labor because my fucking arm's fucked up. So, um, somebody try to hack your Facebook page. Jeez. But part of being people have asked me how could you be pro America and pro US Constitution and a socialist? And I just want to point out that there's nothing in the Constitution that says that I can't be pro healthcare education, pro universal healthcare education, income, and housing. There's nothing in the Constitution that says being a bigot is okay, and unions are like awesome. So what are we talking about? Right. So, mm-mm-mm. Yeah, Stacy, my buddy, uh, that I was on active duty with, he still posts a lot of shit on Facebook. He messaged me and asked me, "What'd you leave for?" He was like, "I'd have fought them Nazis with you forever on Facebook." But I'm I swore a lifetime pledge to this country and this Constitution. Okay, and I feel as though you can have both, and I'm an advocate for both. People must choose this. They must choose socialism. They must choose to elect people that aren't just going to stuff their pockets and take money from foreign countries and prop up big business and then bet on those big businesses based on closed door meetings that the public is not privy to. So understand, you can sort of add anti-corruption to my palette. And when I say like if the government and the law does not apply equally, keep in mind, in my opinion, the law is not partisan. It shouldn't be partisan. If you did the time, you do the crime. Is that fucking simple? Like, you're required to get a speedy trial, right? You should not be delaying that, especially if you're the defendant. Like, you don't need to be delaying that. You need a speedy trial. You need to figure out if you fucking did it or not, right? We can talk about the punishment, and we've had this conversation. Okay, we've had this conversation in the past. I don't think the death penalty is the correct answer. Do I think that there are people that have done bad enough shit that they deserve to die? Yeah, and normally that happens. So what are we talking about? And that some people ought to just be studied and their behavior analyzed and figure out and talk to them and figure out how did you get to that spot, right? So, uh, people have asked, like, how can you be a socialist and be an American that believes in the Constitution? And those things are not, like, they're not at opposite ends of anything. It's more of like an idea, right? The idea is that instead of putting our tax dollars in the military industrial complex and propping up big business, I think we ought to invest in us. It's that simple. People make it into anything else. Violent overthrow of the government. Nope. People gotta elect. They have to elect people that can cop to, hey, I'm gonna root out corruption. Hey, I'm gonna try to stop. I want to get rid of Citizens United. I want to stop people betting on stocks that are elected officials that get to sit in these closed door meetings and build their portfolios. A lot of people have pointed out, like, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning right as she gets her fucking benefits. No, silly. She's resigning because she's cashing out. When she got elected into office, she was worth less than like a $500,000, and now her net worth is over like 25 mil. This is totally a cashing out of the system. A cash out refi, baby. She's going back. She's going to be back. She's going to come back and try to get into politics. She's going to come back and be more of a centrist. She's going to use the fact that she was manipulated and she was dumb and she had a lot of growing up to do and spent a lot of time just thinking and drinking, but a lot of time just thinking about the best thing to do. And she's going to be a more middle of the road version of Marge that's still dumber than a fucking box of rocks, does not have a platform or ideas that she wants to implement. All she wants to do is obstruct and yell. You deserve better elected officials than people that will take money from APAC because they're scared bitches. We need to stat keep your thumb on APAC money and keep your thumb on smear campaigns and keep your thumb on what's actually going on out here and who's actually got your back and who don't. And you cannot vote for people that support Israel. You got to draw a line in the sand and say, put another candidate up. You don't take what is handed to you. Don't take what don't take what is handed to you. We have to demand better leadership. We have to encourage protest. If you don't like the way things are, you have to find out who is responsible for continuing to vote to keep you in the position you're in. And you need to make their life hell. Legally, through protest, boycott, and strike. No exceptions. Not a moment on this show in a year. Ask the audience. In the 1 year that we've sat here, somebody donated a couple $100 already. Thank you. Okay. Remember to listen to Edwin Starr's War as sort of our de facto theme song. Okay. Zeke said, "Yo, I love seeing Democrats fumble on the APAC question." Yeah, they're cowards. Here's what I'd say. Uh, I'm not an elected official. I'm not running for public office, but I can fucking help you answer a goddamn question. Mr. Malat, how do you feel about Israel and AIPAC? Okay, let's break that down into two separate answers. First of all, as far as political action committees, which is what AIPAC is, I do not take money or affiliate with any political action committees. I do not think that's a good measure of a politician's worth. So I'm not going to even take any money from any PACs. All of the money that I will use in my campaign is what is being donated organically by an actual human being and not a representative of a political action committee. Now, as far as Israel, the Israel of today is not the Israel from the Bible. The Israel of today was founded in 1948 by David Ben-Gurion, then the head of the Jewish Agency. The entire purpose of Israel is to mimic the United States' imperialist and expansionist ways. So, in many ways, with the aid of your tax dollars, our tax dollars, my tax dollars, the United States has been using Israel as a puppet in the Middle East. Every family that's gotten into power has had their fucking hand up the IDF's ass and been manipulating it. Donald Trump just so happens to see Gaza as the Riviera. And so he wants to build a resort there. Israel they want that land. So do you see how Israel expanding and Donald Trump wanting to build a resort thinking that the Holy Land is the Riviera, they work together. And so now he's the president and now he's making sure that he takes care of his kids and I just want to make sure I tell everyone don't go there. He has one in Dubai too, don't go there. Don't go to the one he builds in Venezuela or Argentina when he flees. If he makes it that long, and I don't think he's got it in him. I don't even think he can make it out of the escape hatch. I don't think he has the energy to pull the ladder up behind him as he gets on his spaceship. So understand, the answer to the AIPAC Israel question is I don't take money from political action committees, any of them, especially not AIPAC. And as far as my thoughts on Israel, as long as we understand that the United States has had his hand up Israel's ass since 1948 telling it what to do. Okay, as long as we can all agree that it's on us, we can fix this. Okay? Now, it feels like, because Donald Trump is a cuck, it feels like the IDF and Israel has its hand up Donald Trump's ass telling it what to do. No, those missiles that they use on other countries are American. Stop fucking playing. Stop fucking acting like this ain't what we do. We can change, okay? We can change. It doesn't have to be this way. But what we have to do is we have to protest until motherfuckers resign. Look at the Bulgarian government resigning. Okay, Donald Trump took hundreds of millions of dollars from AIPAC. Stop playing. He's the AIPAC queen. Okay? King. You can call him the king. Okay? But what we've got to do is protest till motherfuckers resign. It happens other places. It happened here too. Look at all these people not running for office again, not running for re-election, stepping down, getting out of politics. An estimated more than 20 Republicans are supposed to step down. And this is because they know what's about to happen. They know that they just killed a whole bunch of people, dog. The cuts to USAID cut starved hundreds of thousands of children to death already. Already. That already happened. No, no, you're right, Queen. Yeah. Now, all that I could do is share this and say this is the greatest country in the world. Okay? I'm going to read this article headline and you're going to understand this is Iran. Okay? Child bride spared execution in Iran after blood money's paid. So, they were going to hang this woman over the death of her abusive husband. She'd been on death row in prison for the past 7 years. Retribution in kind is what she was sentenced for. Quizás. And again, one of the things that I don't do on a lot of stuff is tell you what I would do because I don't actually, for the record, I don't know. We approved the sale of F-16s to Pakistan's uh, sale package of $686 million to Pakistan's F-16 fleet aims to support its national security objectives. And it's like, U.S. Defense Secretary Cooperation Agency notified Congress about a defense deal with Pakistan in a letter sent December 8th, which will start a 30-day review. Well, you got to understand the military and what the military does is a lot different than its civilian populace. Well, their game's out in the public eye. So here's Russia's angle. Okay, Russia's angle. Okay, when they invaded Ukraine, is hinging on their accusation of genocide in Donbass. So Russia's Prosecutor General's office announced Monday it indicted 41 former and current Ukrainian officials on accusations of committing genocide against ethnic Russians in eastern Ukraine. Among the officials named are former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal, National Smile, National Security Advisor and Defense Council Secretary Rustem Umerov, as well as Ukraine's Commander-in-Chief Alexander Srinsky. Russian authorities claim the officials have been responsible for the deliberate targeting of civilians in Donetsk and Luhansk with the intent of committing genocide since the fighting began between Ukrainian forces and Moscow-backed separatists in 2014. According to the indictment, nearly 5,000 civilians were killed and 13,500 were injured during that period. Russia's prosecutor's office claimed that migration, lower birth rates, and higher mortality caused the local population to fall from 6.5 million to 4.5 million. Are you fucking serious right now? 5,000 people died and they're saying their population went down by 2 million? What? President Vladimir Putin regularly accuses authorities in Kiev of trying to exterminate ethnic Russians in the Donbass region, uh, as they fucking should. Oh shit. I didn't know this. Did you know Russia's ambassador to North Korea died in the last couple days? I sent you the article. It's in front of your eyeballs. It's insane. 5,000 people died. The population went down by 2 million. That's Russia's lawyers. Excuse me. Hell yeah, brother. Ukraine accepts homegrown Flamingo cruise missiles from Firepoint. So, the Ukrainian armed forces have received a shipment of Flamingo long-range cruise missiles from their a Ukrainian company called Firepoint. I would be, if you have money to invest, that's what I'd be putting my money in. A company that you know is going to be cranking out fucking long-range missiles for the next couple years anyway. Okay. Sorry, I've been sitting up a little today. I'm excited. Okay, 1 year. It's crazy. People have asked like, what did I want? And I said I'd just like to do something nice for my wife and start the American Socialist Party. I don't care about anything else. I don't have any like wants. I'm not a possessive person. There isn't anything that I could get that would complete me. I already have it. I'm married to my best friend. You know what I mean? I already won. All right. So instead of fucking tomahawks, they got the flamingo. Here's an article from the Hindu. India gives tepid response to Russian push for Su-57 long-range drones and subs. So what this is telling me is that yeah, no, it's kind of a wild story that somehow slipped under the radar. The Russian ambassador to North Korea died like 3 days ago. Do you guys remember that? I don't remember going over that. But anyway, um, Russia is not Russia. Yeah, Russia and India are posturing as though they're in bed together. That's a fair way to say it. Okay. Um, Russia and India have a loose sort of handshake. Let's do business agreement, and I want to say like public pressure is going to poo-poo that purchase. Russia's not going to be able to meet the demands of India in terms of their military. I don't know how their money works, but it looks like 10.5 times. I think 1.5 times what doesn't seem like that much of an increase in investment if you convert it to American dollars. But if it's 10.5 times, India is making a considerable investment into its defense, and they're sort of lukewarm on whether they're going to do that with Russia or not, which invites other countries to slide in and say, hey, fuck that Su-57, you know, we got this other shit. One of the things that is sticking out of my brain, where it's like, say the words out of your mouth, okay? I watched this story, okay, about the competition for the fighter jet of the future, okay? And it came down to a handful of them. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to pretend like it's Boeing and Raytheon and da 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 da. No, I couldn't even. I don't even remember what the fucking planes are. Okay, but and we're talking about the fighter jet of the future for America. Okay, the the one that they ended up going with, that you see all the fucking time, isn't the best isn't the best one, which means almost certainly they developed an aircraft that was far fucking superior and immediately yanked that shit out of the public eye, and we're like, we're going to develop that privately. And so they, at the facility, they built the statue to the plane you'll never see. Do you understand how that works now? The best platform didn't even make it to market in the US. That's because we have built superior aircraft and didn't bother to share that with the public. They don't even need to fucking know. So when people ask me, like, do you feel like America's in danger? No. Nope. Because of our investment in the military industrial complex, we have like the rights to that shit. We can do whatever the fuck we want. There are aircraft and weapons that you and I will never see. Hmm? So people always ask me like, "Oh, you had a top secret clearance or whatever. Have, is the Men in Black real and shit?" And it's like, no, but there are OGAs, other government agencies. I remember one of the craziest things that's happened in the last year is one of my clients was a Army Special Forces that ended up a subject. Like he wanted to go hunt. Um, yep, and that's the problem. The problem my whole life has been, if we don't just give them money, they will go sell them to countries that will use them against us. And I say, and that would be very treasonous and would be punishable by death. So the thing is, American businesses, if it's a matter of national security, it's not legal to sell that to someone else. And this country is not going to get stuck up, right? Like a gas station attendant and taken for her cash just to prop up your fucking business. That's not the way it works. If businesses have to fail, haktua, it's not the government's problem. The government should not be bailing motherfuckers out. Now, it is socialist as fuck for the government to own business. That's seizing the means of production. So when Donald Trump buys 10% of Nvidia, I told you, that's socialist as fuck right there. Yeah. Are no rules we yam tits. Exactly. Donald Trump and his team is thinking about forming a five-nation group with Russia and China to replace the G7. So What'd I say? What happened? Jesus. 7,400 HIV positive cases raise alarm at Sitamari. 400 children affected. I don't understand. What I say? Oh, Hawk Toi. Yeah. Yeah, if we I'm over corporate welfare, bro. Like think about all the programs we could have and instead we have this shit. And people are, you know what I mean? Yeah, baby. Ukraine hits Russian oil platform in the Caspian. A first ever strike in Moscow's offshore energy empire. Here you go. I mean, their war's expanding. First ever strike in the Caspian Sea. The Filanovsky oil platform, one of Russia's largest offshore assets in the Caspian. Part of the Lukoil, that's a very long word with very few vowels. Nizhnevolskivneft. Fuck off. The site features proven reserves of 129 million tons of oil and 30 billion cubic meters of gas. 4 impacts were recorded. Oil gas production from more than 20 wells has stopped. Good. Things we don't like. South Korea and Ford Motor are ending their U.S. joint battery venture. So I'm guessing there was a problem there. Yeah, everything seems super fucking desperate. Yeah. Hey, new rifles are on the way for Canada's soldiers as their defense spending ramps up. Tell me you're guilty without telling me you're guilty. Right. Oh shoot, we've been going for more than an hour. Why didn't anybody say anything? Just letting me drone on. Here, let's talk about American politics and shit. RFK Jr. got impeached. Pete Hegseth's gonna get impeached. It's gonna be a great week, Tater. Donald Trump's begging not to get put in jail and shit from the ICC. Billionaire Donald Trump says it might be time to give up toys and things like pencils during Christmas. A report warns signs of rapid authoritarian shift and a big no shit. Did anyone else see Lauren Boebert is dating Kid Rock? Says the chat. The DoD gave. All right. Well, Snopes sucks. This Texas candidate took money from Democrats and then flipped to the GOP. A Texas Railroad Commissioner candidate is in hot water after flipping her candidacy from Democrat to Republican just days after fundraising from Democrats. Her name's Catherine Colbert. But yeah, here. Lauren Boebert even used campaign funds to go see Kid Rock. So that's right. Kid Rock and Lauren Boebert bumped uglies on your tax dollars. That's right. They fucked on a bed full of cash, and it was your tax money. America is pirates now. After, oh, Donald Trump's going back to MAGA rallies. That's right, kids. Which are going to be a total fucking flop. Are a total fucking flop. Stop me if you've heard this one. Americans can't afford food, and most of them blame Trump, and most of them that are blaming Trump voted for Trump. So. And I was trying to get you an article about the U.S. seizing an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. We be pirates now. Yeah. Yeah. What I would do if you want to support me, you can go to twitch.tv/likelyalien. Make sure that you're following me. Okay. And that didn't do what I wanted it to do. So what if I did that? .tv/likelyalien. What if I just did that? Oh, if I put www in there. Okay. You can see the low angle. I got it. He said the other day he loves minors. Of course he did. He's a fucking pedophile. And his entire justification is that this is what he's always done. Trump's presidency is crumbling right before our eyes. Isn't that a wonderful fucking sentence? Gosh. The Hill reporting. Zeke said you got PayPal or Cash App? I think I have both. So PayPal. Let's log into PayPal and see what my PayPal account is. Okay. Request. So let me see. Let's go home. I don't know if this is helpful. That's not what I meant to do. We'll undo that. Trying to find like my home, like me. If you were going to donate money instead, the Wounded Warrior Project would be my recommendation. Send in request. I'm trying to get like click this link, right? Cancel. Send a digital gift card. Don't do that. More savings, split a bill, donate, pay bill, others, pool money, PayPal rules, really cash pickup. Any free go direct get your PayPal message. Well, it's gonna go get paid. How does someone send me money on PayPal? I don't even know. Share your linked email or phone number. Oh, here. If you want to send me money on PayPal. And then on Cash App. I'm sure I have one. And it's got to be my account. Likely Alien on Cash App. Okay. There. So, my email. Okay. And then there. A lot of people, this has become a lot for. It's become overwhelming for. And I want to make sure here in the new year that you don't be afraid to take a break, go touch grass. I want to make sure I let everyone know the first thing I do when I get up every morning, is, unless it is literal freezing outside or raining, is I take all my dogs outside on a walk before the fucking sun comes up most of the time. So when I tell you to touch grass, it's not certainly not because I'm some old grumpy man not doing that shit myself. I drink coffee in the morning, but I spend most of my day drinking water. Filtered water. Please filter your water. A lot of people are empaths and they feel a great deal of empathy about what we look at every day. And in the new year, if you need to take a break from that, please do, but don't leave us. Don't leave our community. Don't obviously don't harm yourself, right? Um, Momentum is building for Medicare for all as private health insurers jack up premiums. Okay. I think we need universal health care, and however we move toward that, okay. Yeah, understand. My wife and I are not rich, but we make enough money to pay our bills. We're all I would love to get a couple $100 to take my wife out to dinner as a gift from my community for her giving me to you every day for the last year, including our days off and holidays. Um, and ask that you think of us if you're thinking about giving. Think about this husband and wife that we certainly never wanted to be any shred of famous or well known, or that was never the intent. But life changes. Life comes at you fast, right? So 13 Republicans defy GOP leadership and vote with Democrats to advance the repeal of Trump's order on federal unions. A vote repealing his order is expected today. "13 Republicans defy GOP leadership." Here's Fed Chair Jerome Powell doing his job, saying the U.S. is drastically overstating its jobs report. So understand, hey, job market's terrible. Don't lose that. Rob Long won in. It's taking forever to load. In a Florida House race. Yep, this came out this morning. Democrat Rob Long, the newest member of the House of Representatives, in an overwhelming victory, 63 to 35. Remember, the problem is that we are rocketing in the other direction. Okay? But yeah, like I said, if I could take my wife out to dinner, that'd be nice. And I'd like to fundraise $1,000 to start the American Socialist Party. Um, no pressure. I figured I was gonna have to pay for it anyway, so just to get it started. Now, once you actually have officially become a political party and you start collecting money, you know, we just want to make sure that we take individual donations only, right? And that we don't use the money. Is he in the Florida House of Representatives or in D.C.? Good question. But aren't you both? Like you're, I don't know, HD90, Delray Beach Commissioner, loss control engineer, owns a political organizing firm, a former member of the Palm Beach Soil and Water Conservation District Board, a former president of the Palm Beach County Young Democrats. He's author of a children's book, The Great Weather Diviner. But I want to say he's very much like a local politician. So remember when they talk about follow the rules, right? In terms of gaining your citizenship, when they're showing up at your immigration ceremony before you can actually swear the oath and sign the paperwork and become an American citizen, here's Time Magazine talking about people being turned away from their citizenship ceremonies so that they can be arrested by ICE, so they can meet their quotas. See, ICE is understanding what cops figured out a long time ago. Quotas don't mean shit. Trump says Democrats want to turn every member of your family transgender. They still think this is like a big deal. Hey, just so you know, in my lifetime, I've met a lot of manly women and a lot of womanly men. All the love and strength and hope and power at all, but like I've met like super effeminate men and I've met super butch women. I felt no ways. Trump brags about taking more dementia tests than any president in history, as though that is a good thing. Couple articles back to back from the Daily Beast here. So on social media, Donald Trump has accidentally boosted the account of an anti-MAGA troll account. So this is how you know you get too far into the fucking weeds, right? When you start pumping up your enemy on the internet, and then also Donald Trump insists that it's treason to talk about his health issues. The president is dying. He has a catheter, a colostomy bag. He has got congestive heart failure. A lot of people have said he has obviously dementia. But what's the STD that he has? Like Bannon's got it too. Um, it's like it's common in older these old gross motherfuckers. Yeah. Clots and prayers, right? Yeah. So understand These detention facilities are modern day concentration camps. They're literally not feeding people. Here's an article where a judge blasts ICE for failing syphilis. Thank you. I think he has syphilis, dementia, colostomy bag, catheter. I mean, he's fucked. Everything's trying to get out of that body. Piss, shit, water. Hmm. Epstein survivors and Senate Democrats ask for an audit to see if any of the Epstein files have been tampered with. Unkept and unwell, yeah. Donald Trump is claiming executive privilege to keep more than 4,000 January 6 documents locked up. Oh, okay. Maybe not. So Donald Trump is really stupid because he thinks that he has the only copy of the documents. Pentagon unveils new Gen AI platform and it immediately starts flagging Pete Hegseth's war crimes. Here's Above the Law. Remember, the artificial intelligence is not going to... Intelligence is not on the side of your oppressor. They're not good at this. Senate Republicans have blocked Merkley's bill to prevent war with Venezuela. Somebody said Kevin McCarthy laid low for a while. He's back. Yeah. Proud pro LGBTQ plus Democrat flips Republican state house seat in Georgia. An electoral upset. Eric Gisler won in a special election by about 200 votes. Appreciate you. Yeah, make sure uh, if you send any money or things, whatever you send our way, make sure you earmark that. Hey, this is for the American Socialist Party. Hey, this is for you and the missus to enjoy a night out. And anything is appreciated. Like I said, the push to impeach Pete Hegseth is on. The problem that I foresee, I'm operating with some foresight, is that we run the risk of getting into uniparty territory if we do not establish a workers' party. It's that simple. It's that simple. Union membership is on like a 7 decade slide. If we don't do something, unions are going to go away. If unions go away, you can forget reining in big companies. You can just out the window. Okay? Now, we've sat here for 90 minutes, talked news and politics, celebrating our first year together. Again, I started and I'll finish the same. This morning I thought about graduating high school and about how the whole like 10 days of prep for graduation, they had to tell my classmates, "Hey dumbass, commencement means beginning. It's the beginning of your life. It's not the end. It's not the acme. This isn't the tippy top. Okay? We're at the base camp. We're just getting started. We're just getting our bearings. Okay? Listen to a little bit of Eat the Rich. Okay? A little bit of Eat the Rich. A little bit of Eat the Rich. A little bit of War. Okay? Let's check the weather. No fucking surprises, right? Keep your head on a swivel. Okay? There's a storm from coast to coast here in the United States right now. If you live in the southern two-thirds of the United States, don't worry about it. You ain't got shit going on. Okay? From Oregon, the southern half of Idaho, Wyoming, what is that? Arkansas or Kansas, one of them. Uh, and then down Missouri's clear, Tennessee's clear, right? But there is a major storm system from Seattle, Washington. So the state of Washington, tons of rain. It looks like rain mostly. Moving east across northern Idaho and Montana is more rain. And then once you get into eastern Montana, you're looking at like sleet, um, a mixed rain, freezing rain, some snow. As that moves east, again, it's more sleet in the Dakotas and rain than anything else. Until you get to like Iowa, you'll see some straight up rain. Yeah, that's rain in Iowa, across Illinois, across Indiana, into Kentucky and Ohio, and then I'm just guessing that snow in yeah, I'm guessing there's going to be a big snow in like Michigan and the northeast part of the United States that are part of this thing goes all the way across the country. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. All the way across. Okay? So again, like I said, the southern half of the United States, you're Gucci, right? Everybody else in the Great White North, you're getting that shit today. Okay? So hey, I appreciate you all. Um, Again, thank you. I think that what we are doing here is enduring the worst of times. If you want me to tell you what we're doing here, um, I don't storyboard. I'm not. I'm not pre-planning my show. I don't sit down for hours a day and comb through the news to try to curate a story for you. You are due better. You're due my reaction to me reading something for the first time that I haven't read in front of you before. Right? So when something has happened yesterday after the show and we're talking about it the next day, understand that unless I read that article yesterday and shared it to our Discord, I probably didn't. And I really am trying to be as genuine about this as I can and just saying someone's got to do it. Someone's got to sit here, talk about what's going on all over the world, not just in the US. Talks about what's actually happening here. And didn't have an agenda. Wasn't in it for the money or the clicks or the likes. I'm not trying to be provocative. I'm not trying to go out of my way to be like entertaining either. I am just cognizant that like in order for this audience to grow, you have to invest yourself. People have to know who you are and what you like and what you're into, and you have to curate the show around your interests. So you'll notice that I have I'm a bit of a war and history buff, and I kind of am interested in not fucking repeating our history and stopping all war. What the fuck? Except just war. So have a fantastic Thursday. Thank you for 1 year. Yeah. Have a good day. Enjoy professional unionized football tonight.